everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy first day for many of you guys that are finally back from work. Had a fabulous day. Today we continue the Own It Instagram live series that we started for Own It. Today we're going to talk about money mindset with Gigi, the first gen mentor. She is going to join our live and we are going to have a fabulous conversation regarding that topic. Let me just invite her over. Let's see.
Hello.
Yay! Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited and honored to have the ability to share space with you and to have this conversation. So I wanted to just start with, why don't you introduce yourself so everybody in my lucky audience get to know you and what you do and how it is that.
Yeah, of course. So hello everybody. My name is Gigi. A lot of people know me as the first gen mentor on TikTok. I'm a financial educator, a full-time content creator, and a speaker. So on my account, I post like practical money advice as well as career tips to help you level up your dinero.
Awesome. So I am so excited about this conversation because I figured that with everything that you have shared in your page, which is it's not only educational, but it's actually pretty hilarious, and a lot of us can relate to all the content that you share. We can discuss the topic of money mindset and what it actually means, and it brings to a lot of us on an everyday basis.
Yeah, sounds good. And by the way, congratulations on your book launch. Super exciting. I already got my copy.
Thank you. So the book launch is actually for September 27th. That's when we're gonna have both versions of it. Okay. Yeah, so I am super excited and thank you so much. This book has been quite a project, and I cannot wait to share it with the world. Hopefully it inspires many to just own whatever project that you want to take on.
Yeah, it's an incredible accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. So you were telling us that you in your experience is all financial. What led you to have that as a content piece?
Yeah, so I didn't really have any ambition to be like a content creator. I was working in the finance world. I was happy with my career, but I became obsessed with personal finance. I'd say around 2019, just after deciding to take ownership of my money journey. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm like, why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? Like, I went to college, my parents immigrated to this country so that we wouldn't have a hard life, but why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? So I started learning about how money worked. I read a bunch. I listened to a bunch of podcasts. I absorbed as much as I could, and I really became an expert at it. And then I wanted to just kind of share my knowledge with other people. So the way that I got involved in the personal finance space at first was through volunteering. So I was volunteering at a nonprofit as a volunteer financial educator. So I'd give free 1-hour workshops to the community on investing or on how to build credit, all that fun stuff. And then with time, I'm like, okay, I should put this stuff on the internet to reach more people. And it's something that is just so needed in our community. And I'm so happy to be able to take up that space.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I am so glad that you do, because it actually makes the topic of money mindset, money altogether, a lot easier to approach with somebody that is probably not in the growth mindset. So sometimes you start your journey of owning your relationship with money. I had to start mine for, I think, similar but different reasons, because I didn't know what was going on in my own financial world. I was like, wait a minute. You want me to what? Pay what? For what? I don't get it. And that confusion led me to have to make some super hard decisions when it came to what degree I was gonna get, what college I was gonna go to. It affected a lot of decisions that it shouldn't have. Maybe had I known a lot more, I would have made different decisions, but back then I didn't. But your content, I have found that it allows the conversation to start in a light way, in where nobody's defensive yet. No, it's not like a sit down conversation of like, we really need to talk about finances, but you can kind of in a lighthearted way say, hey, have you thought about that? Have you noticed that we do this?
Yeah, I think it's important to like entertain, edutain. I love to edutain, and that's why I love like being a creator on TikTok, because I feel like it's a perfect platform for that, where you can kind of like mix a little bit of like your personality with, a topic that a lot of people find very like boring and dry and not enjoyable to talk about. So I try to infuse, the what I'm trying to teach somebody with a little bit of pop culture or like a funny meme, something like that, to make it a little bit more relatable.
Yes, I definitely love it. I think that the content about money is not, I don't know if it's boring. I think that for in the way that I grew up with, it was just icky. Like you wouldn't really touch up on the topic. You would just kind of listen and obey, and you would just follow the direction or the example that you grew up with. So it's just not a topic that a lot that in my family we spoke about. And I think it was the lack of those conversations that led us to maybe make some terrible financial decisions because we didn't know any better.
Yeah, in our family, we didn't really talk about money a lot either. I mean, whenever money was brought up, it was like we don't have enough of it, or don't ask for that because we don't have it.
Right.
But yeah, nobody, growing up, nobody was talking about how to maximize the money that you have. It was just like, maybe like talk a little bit about saving the money that you have, but nobody was
Right.
talking about investing it or making the money compound and grow for you or work for you.
Yeah, yeah. I can honestly say that it's still a conversation, and when I try to touch up with my parents, there's just crickets of silence, and they looked at me like, "Why would you want to risk like using the money that you worked so hard on getting?" That's another one of those things that it was so often, and that it was reminded that making money had to be hard, and you had to spend a lot of time on it, and really 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 like be one of the best ones if you wanted to be making lots of money. So a lot of those beliefs were in my childhood constantly spoken aloud, to where I didn't know I had a lot of those beliefs until I had to face them.
Yeah, no, I think I recently let go of that belief not that long ago. The belief that, you have to work hard to get money. Because I think part of that, I think it was, my background, my upbringing by my family, saying working hard to earn money. But also, I remember seeing, like, hearing about some sort of statistic where, like, oh, after you make $70,000, you don't really get like much more enjoyment out of the money. So you're working more, but like you're earning more, but you're not really enjoying it as much because you just have more work to do. So that always kind of stuck with me, and I'm like, okay, I just kind of want to like stick to that. I don't. What's the point then of making more money? And I actually had a coworker a couple years ago tell me, like, you're limiting yourself. Like, you can make more money and you'll still enjoy it. So he's like, that statistic's wrong or whatever. He was the first one. His name's Alfredo that brought up. I remember vividly that conversation. And then now, as an entrepreneur, I've had to adopt that mindset of like, no, it shouldn't be hard to make money because I control how much I earn. And I mean, my accountability buddy, shout out to Rachel. I know she's not connected, but if she was, shout out to Rachel. She's like the walking example of somebody that, she has worked hard in the past, but like she makes money very easily. She was interviewed, I forget which news publication, and they plugged her affiliate link for some course. She made $20,000 from that interview and that article. Yeah. And that was just from spending, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes talking to this reporter and sharing her story. And, maybe it's a little bit of luck, but she did not work hard for those $20,000. So I like to practice affirmations, and that's one of the affirmations that I always use. Like, money flows easily to me, money flows through me, so we're not like resistant to accepting it or receiving it.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't know I was resistant to money. I thought that because I worked hard, I just like, I earned it. And so it was good and it was okay. But I also had a belief that more money, more issues, more money, more drama, more money, less family time. And I was like, I don't want any of that. I hate drama. I don't like problems. And I am a huge person for family time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the way that I limited myself, and I didn't know I was resisting it. So what would you say is how would anybody notice that they're resisting something when they haven't really had like sat down? Maybe they don't know that yet.
Yeah, I think they have to examine their relationship to money. I think a lot of us grew up hearing, that like money is evil, right? Or you're greedy if you want more money. Why aren't you just happy and grateful with what you have? A book that really helped me with that. Have you read We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers?
I have not read that one.
It's really good. Yeah, she talks a lot about like unlearning those beliefs about yeah, thinking that money's dirty or it's only for greedy rich people that don't care about the world. And she's like, no, like money can be used for positive too. It can be used, to support causes that are important to you, to, help your family in ways that you want to support them. Like money's a tool, so like the same way that like a knife can be used to harm somebody or it can be used to like cut a nutritious meal for you, like it's up to you what you do with the tool, so you can use the money for bad things, you can use it for good things, and we're good people, so why wouldn't we use it for good things?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the book for me that made me reflect a lot on the resistance and that's how I was like, oh wow, I am resisting it and I had no idea was Overcoming Under Earning.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
It's
Yeah.
by Barbara. I'm gonna have to grab it because I don't remember the title and I feel bad. Overcoming Under Earning by Barbara Stanley. She has awesome books. She has another book too that talks about that.
Yeah.
And
I hope you guys are writing down both these books. So yeah, We Should All Be Millionaires and then Overcoming Under Earning.
I mean, yes. I mean, that was the first book that made me realize I had the resistance. But it's amazing how fast you can work at it once you know it. I didn't know I was resisting it, but once I became aware of it, I was like, okay, I don't want these resistance. I don't want to
It's
do
like,
that.
are you attracting or repelling money, right? You need to ask yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the affirmation, but I believe the affirmations have to be something that you truly, truly to your core belief in order for them to be effective. So of course I want like money flowing to me and now I receive it and I'm open to it, but I didn't know I was resisting it due to other beliefs that I had attached to it. So it was coming to that reflection.
Yeah, anybody that's new to practicing affirmations, they're gonna feel like so cringy at first because you don't believe it, so then you're reading it and you're like, I'm not convinced of that, but I swear there's science. I did this coaching program a couple months ago and my coach, showed us the research that shows that like after you say it X amount of times, some like neurons connect. I don't know what she said, but like I said, there's research that proves that like the like you will see what you believe, and if you're saying it and speaking it, it's just gonna feel more real. So yeah, the first couple times, just like anything, the first time that you, I don't know, try doing like a deadlift or something new at the gym, right? Like it's gonna feel unnatural and it's gonna hurt and it's gonna bother you, but the more that you do it, it's gonna feel more natural.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like anything is very uncomfortable at first. And the one thing that I would add to the affirmation thing is if you can just give yourself the space to visualize it and see it, like actually you're saying that money flows easy to you, like can you actually close your eyes and see it, and like because sometimes connecting that feeling allows you to believe it a lot faster, and therefore once you believe in it, your brain is like, all right, it's time for us to catch up and make it happen. Your brain is not going to let you down, but you just have to give it that chance to work for you.
Yeah, and like to expand on your point about like visualizing it, like think about like what you're gonna do with the money, like what is it gonna afford to your lifestyle? Are you gonna be able to work less and spend more time with your family, or travel more, or start your business, or volunteer more, whatever is important to you, right? But you want to give a purpose to your money because I feel like that's what's going to really keep you motivated to like want to move forward. It's not about having like the biggest bank account, at least I don't think it is for us. I feel like we're very mission driven. So if we have clarity on what that goal is and what we want our money to do for us, I really think it helps with the momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. And how and in my case, the moment that I started visualizing the fact that money would give me more freedom with my kids and it would allow me to be the
Yeah,
mom that I want to be, I was like, oh my gosh, this whole time I was resisting and thinking the opposite. And it is
yeah.
so funny how by just taking the time to understanding what it could do for me, it's like, oh, then yeah, I definitely need more money, and I'm not greedy, but by wanting it more, I just want to be more present. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody's saying, I love that. Give a purpose to your money. Yes, I love that too. So, what else would you recommend to the audience? That everybody, thank you so much for joining. And if you have anything else to ask to Gigi, this is probably your opportunity. But what else would you like to add to the money mindset? How would anybody would can start on exploring that relationship?
Yeah, really like examine, like I mentioned earlier, like what your relationship to money is, you know, because if you suffer from financial trauma, like it's going to be really hard for you to attract money. And I actually had a live about this about 2 weeks ago with Jacent. She kind of specializes in this area of personal finance. And, you know, it's something that I kind of stay in my lane. Like I know what I'm good at and what I'm expert in, and I'm not like a trauma therapist or any sort of, you know, therapist that focuses on that, right? So, but what I do know from working with clients through money coaching is, you know, you can, if you have like, you know, this financial trauma that where you feel that money is scarce and you're never going to have enough of it, you know, you tend to like hoard your money, and then you're not using it as a tool, right, to make you happy and help you build the life that you want. Or the other end of the spectrum is like you're very I don't want to say irresponsible, that's not the right word, but you're not as careful with it, right? You're spending it left and right. You're not respecting the money and how it is a tool to, you know, as soon as it comes in it goes out, right? So that could also be like a form of financial trauma if, you know, you grew up with parents that like were depriving you, and or they didn't have the financial means to provide, and then now you have the money and you're spending it all, you know. So you need to identify that those habits, like you have those habits, right? So a good little gut check right now for anybody, like anybody here listening, like you should have an idea of like how much money is coming in, how much money is going out every month. What are your financial goals? If all of this is like foreign to you and you're like, wait, I haven't sat down to think about that, then like right now is a good reminder, right? Just to sit down. Don't think about, oh, I'll do it when I'm making more money. Like you got to start somewhere, right? Instead of just putting it off in the future. But understanding whether you have any sort of trauma associated with money, because if you do, you really have to address it, because you can take in the best financial education, but it's going to be really hard to stick to it if you still have that unresolved trauma. So
Yeah, I definitely think, and I mean, if this conversation is triggering you to where you're just like, oh, I do that, or oh no, I don't, or I haven't, I have no idea how to do an Excel of knowing that your finances is definitely a really good place to start. You know, it's not from a place of judgment. It's not from a place of like, oh, I definitely need to make more. I don't make enough. It's not to judge yourself for the position that or the numbers that are on that Excel. It's from a place of acceptance. This is where we are. This is where we started from, and now you can decide where you're going. But yeah, it's so important that because many people shy away from a spot that is gonna make them feel worse about themselves, and it shouldn't. It's knowledge. Knowledge is really, really power if you use it to your advantage. So like Gigi is saying, invest the time on sitting down, knowing what's coming in, what's going out, but remember to do it from a place of I I want to be on the know. With compassion, curiosity, and with lots of acceptance. Just this is where I'm starting, and this is where I'm going. And now you have a purpose for the money of where I'm going, a big why. And I think that the power of having a big why is also very important to have. I mean, at least it has been for me.
yeah, 100%. Like feeling empowered about your money, right? Instead of being afraid of it or not wanting to look at it or being overwhelmed by it. Like if you have those emotions, it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm trying to delete a notification. It's distracting. If you have those emotions, that's just money's neutral, you know. So if money doesn't feel neutral, if you feel if your body has some sort of reaction thinking about money, there's a little trauma there that, you know, you need to address with therapy, with a professional that can help you uncover that.
Yeah, and for example, the overcoming under earning book, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for therapy, in that book there's a lot of exercises that invite you to really notice how you feel about money. Where are you sitting? Is it something that you can resolve by just acknowledging that, like a bad habit? Like, oh, I love to snooze. I love to snooze, and I do it all the time. It might be just a bad habit that you can just transform by actually becoming super aware of it. But if it's also trauma, then again, no judgment, but you're gonna be resisting it unless you heal it, because it just is. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Well, I'm so excited that we cross paths. We cross paths in the weirdest way. But as you guys know, my book is coming out, and Gigi is in the midst of sitting down and typing a million, well, but it feels like a million words a day, right? So we connected through the whole thing of book writing and the project that it is. So I am so glad that we crossed paths. I am so glad that I interacted with you and I love everything that you stand for in your content. And any parting words, anything else that you might want to say?
Yeah, anybody here, you know, if you feel intimidated by the topic of money, you know, just keep learning. You know, it really is like a new language. So just like how you can't expect to, like, I don't know, learn Chinese tomorrow, right? It's going to take time. You'd have to practice it. You have to learn more about it. So just kind of be patient with yourself, but actively seek out that information, because it likely wasn't taught to you at home by your parents. It's not really taught to you in school either, you know, but it is something that affects us all in all facets of life. So the sooner that you kind of take ownership of that journey, you're really going to thank yourself. Like, nobody looks back and says, oh, I wish I would have learned about money later. Everybody's like, I wish I would have taken this more seriously sooner. So
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree.
mm-hmm.
It's all coming back to me like, yes, 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 I wish. But
Mm-hmm.
there's also like it's never too late. So don't judge yourself. Go learn, embrace it, and from a place of knowing, it's gonna be a lot easier. Well, thank you, Gigi, for sharing space, for coming and celebrating the fact that this book is coming live. I'm super excited. On Your Dance is a book in which I talk about my money relationship and the fact that I didn't know I had a terrible money relationship, because I didn't know I had to have a relationship with money in the first place. And a lot of the other lessons that I learned through life. So I am so excited to share. And if you guys, can you drop the book that you recommend in the chat? Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put it on the notes as well. We Should All Be Millionaires, and the Overcoming Under Earning by Barbara. The Overcoming Under Earning, I'm going to read the We Should All Be Millionaires, but this one has a lot of journaling exercises in which you can study your own relationship, and then you can decide how can you move forward. It served me really well to start with that one, and then I continue learning, and We Should All Be Millionaires is definitely clearly making my list next. Any other last minute questions before we drop out?
I'm going up the chat to see if there was maybe one that we missed.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for joining and for sharing space. I'm going to type this one really quickly.
Somebody has said it's not boring or dry to me, but so overwhelming and hard to understand. Yeah, so B. Gomez said that earlier about money. So yeah, just being patient with yourself. Like Telma said, you know, it's not judging yourself for whether you think you should be further up ahead or some past mistakes. You have to forgive yourself, because it's going to be hard for you to keep showing up and learning if you're still kind of beating yourself up for some past mistakes. It's about doing better than you were doing yesterday. You should only be comparing yourself to, you know, yesterday's version of you.
Yes, comparison is like a whole thing that happens from a place of compassion and curiosity. You just stick to your lane, to your excel, to your knowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and remember that like most of the people that you see, you know, sometimes it is easy to compare yourself on social media because you see people taking these lavish vacations, having these nice cars, but most of the time these people are like buried in credit card debt, and you just don't know that because they're not going to show you their credit card statement. There's a lot of people that you know aren't making the wisest decisions, so it's not it wouldn't be good for you to compare yourself to them based on what you're seeing on social media because it's not the full picture.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Gigi. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you coming in live. I loved everything that you shared. I'm going to be reading that book. And thank you, everybody, for participating, for joining. And I hope that you take the time to do that Excel, to become fully aware of where you're standing, so then you can move forward with a purpose and create what you are so worthy of
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for having me on. Have a good day.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye.
Bye.